new command center for the Illuminati and the United States government. Well, forget the United States government. This is a headquarters for the Illuminati. This is where they'll ship most of their supplies. They go underground. They can stay underground for quite some time. And this is stocked with food, water, everything they need. It's an underground city. North entrance, and we're going to go see if we can do some more digging.
Alright, so maybe some of these people have specialty clearance where they can enter and they can continue driving further. That's possible as well. But in any case, there's obviously an entry point. It goes to the underground. They're hauling products, of which many of them maybe they don't even know, according to even the driver. At least he acted ignorant. Whether he was or not, I'm not sure. And if he wasn't ignorant, it just makes it that much more secret, right? All right, so right here, this is a web page. This is an unofficial Facebook page for one of these underground storage facilities. Anyone can go to this, and in fact, you can go probably visit this entry point and go take pictures of it. That's fine, and you might even be able to get in and video around, because truck drivers, they can get in and they're videoing around. You can see them driving through the underground to at least a certain extent, and they kind of give you an idea of what's down there. It's kind of fascinating. So this is, to me, this is not so much the scary part. This is just the entry point. That's all it is. There's some mystery behind it. We don't know exactly, and I probably wouldn't want to go looking anyways. But I'd rather just take the testimonies that I can put forth to you today. All right, so here, this is Mount Weather. Anyone heard of Mount Weather before in Virginia? No? Okay. So Mount Weather, it had publicly displays that they have, they put this information out there, that they have a 600,000 square foot facility underground. They're already 400 plus acre facility above ground, or at least area. They have a surface area coverage of 400. It's not all the buildings necessarily, but underground they have about 13 miles of underground bases below. All right, so this is in Bluemont, Virginia. So this is a publicized information. Anyone can go look this up. You could probably go visit this location above ground. If you have a cousin or an uncle, I'm in the military, you might be able to go see some parts of the underground piece of it maybe, who knows. But it's there. There's no mystery. Here's an aerial view of Mount Weather. And by some of the testimonies that I was looking into, there's apparently there's evidence of a lot of underground bases, especially in the North Carolina mountains in particular. One location being at an old facility located, which was a historic, no doubt, a historic NASA facility, which is now being used on the top level from everyone's known perspective, for at least the public, to just be seen as some acreage for camps for children to learn about science and the universe, right? But underground, there's allegedly some bases down there. And to me, this is just kind of funny. This is their logo. It's an open book. Looks like it has a dome with stars in it, and the moon just so happens to be within the firmament. So bizarre. Yep.
No, they don't know.
They had no idea. Yep. And so there's supposedly another one of the locations of these underground bases is underneath Mount Mitchell. So I just kind of want to give you guys a little flavor taste of, I can't dig into each one of these. I just want to give you some clues so that you can, if you want to, dig further into it. So here I found this. This is kind of interesting. This is an article that was published back in 2008. Independence, this is in Independence, Missouri, sued by Space Center. Isn't that funny? They're called Space Center. their underground storage facility, Space Center, incorporated over alleged cave-in. So according to the lawsuit, Space Center claims that on June 24, 2006, a ceiling collapsed underneath where the complex, it was a sports complex, was being built, causing the sprinkler system to go off where General Mills was storing large quantities of flour, damaging an estimated amount of $1.2 million in goods. That's a lot of flour. What? How many cakes do they bake down there? I mean, I don't know. That's a lot of flour. Yeah, definitely a storage facility. Yeah, that's all they do. They just store $1.2 million worth of flour under a baseball field. All right, so this is a drill, a tunneling drill called Bertha. At the time, at least to the known public, it is the largest drill ever built. And it was built specifically for a tunnel that was going to be, that I believe has actually been completed up in the Seattle area. And this is not the most sophisticated. I'm just showing that this is how big the technology is, it can be. Look at the size of the man to the face of the drill. This is gigantic. All right, so this guy right here, he did an amazing job of consolidating a lot of information to a short, compact time frame. So I just want to share this with you, and you'll notice some of the things that he talks about includes Hitler, of which I already alluded to in an undocumented, a declassified document from the CIA website. I think Kevin might not be there. You just have to move, can you move the mouse? If you just click the play, and then it should work, if you can. There you go. Or click anywhere else in the video, sorry. You can go back to the right. Here, I'll get you over there. Now go ahead and just click anywhere. There you go.
It all started in World War II. Allied forces were devastating Nazi industry and armament factories with systematic bombing campaigns throughout the territories of the Third Reich. In response, Hitler commissioned the building of underground installations to protect crucial elements of industrial production needed to continue the war effort and to hide certain top-secret technologies that were under development. The TOTE organization, a group of highly skilled civil engineers under the direction of Zaverdorsh, began the construction of the massive subterranean facilities in earnest. But by the time they were completed, it was too late. The Allies had already destroyed nearly all of Germany's industrial capabilities and were invading the fatherland. As American forces pushed further into Germany, they discovered the incredible underground installations that the TOTE organization had constructed and captured many of the organization's members, including Dorsch. Eventually, some of the high-ranking TOTE organization engineers were secreted away to the United States via Project Paperclip to continue their work building underground installations, but this time for the U.S. government. Deep underground military bases, or DUMS for short, are top-secret subterranean facilities located, in most cases, miles below the surface of the Earth, commonly built within or beneath hard rock formations, such as mountains, mesas, hills, and plateaus. DUMS provide maximum security and secrecy for both military and corporate interests. These clandestine underground installations facilitate at least 3 strategic objectives. Number 1, security. as in the warehousing of sensitive assets, i.e., nuclear warheads, biological weapons, etc., and safe haven of high-ranking military and government officials during national crises, i.e., nuclear fallout, EMP attack, civil unrest, etc. Number 2, secrecy. To conceal the research and development of highly classified technologies, especially those derived from antediluvian and/or non-human origin. Also, to conduct controversial experimentation, especially relating to behavioral modification, genetic engineering, and human cybernetics. Number 3, subversion. To subvert public scrutiny and rule of law, as in the Constitution and Bill of Rights, in pursuit of technological, political, societal, and financial objectives. Though the existence of most of these dumb installations, no pun intended, is officially denied, some of them have surfaced into public awareness, such as the Cheyenne Mountain Complex, formerly the home of NORAD, and the Mount Weather Complex. The well-known, yet officially undisclosed Mount Weather Emergency Operations Center, also known as the High Point Special Facility, located in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, is a continuity of government complex operated by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA. Completed in 1958, the classified installation beneath Mount Weather was originally designed to be a relocation site for the highest-ranking officials in government, including the President of the United States and his cabinet. Often described as a subterranean city, the base includes a hospital, crematorium, dining and recreation areas, sleeping quarters, an emergency power plant, dozens of office buildings, some of which are 3 stories high, a radio and television studio, which is part of the emergency broadcasting system, and a special train that connects to strategic locations throughout the country, utilizing a high-tech and hidden transit system. The Very High-Speed Transit System, or VHST, was a RAND Corporation concept presented to the military-industrial complex in the 1970s. The RAND Corporation described the concept as follows: a very high-speed transit system operating in its own rarefied atmosphere in evacuated tubes in underground tunnels. Most cases considered took less time to go coast to coast, as in 21 minutes, than it takes an aircraft to climb to an efficient operating altitude. VHST's tube craft ride on and are driven by electromagnetic EM waves. In accelerating, it employs the energy of the surrounding EM field. In decelerating, it returns most of this energy to the system. Tunnel systems would be shared by oil, water, and gas pipelines, channels for laser and microwave waveguides, electric power lines, including superconducting ones, and freight systems. Environmental and economic benefits are substantial, and the technology for building and operating the system exists. Although the VHST was never to be developed for the benefit of the public, it was, nonetheless, quietly constructed beneath our feet for military application. There now exists a vast network of subterranean tunnels through which an electromagnetoleviton train, or maglev train, passes at speeds in excess of Mach 2. The maglev train, suspended on electromagnetic waves 3/4 of an inch above a monorail and moving faster than the speed of sound through a near frictionless vacuum, is able to traverse the distance between Los Angeles and New York City precisely as the RAND Corporation predicted, in under 30 minutes. As unbelievable as it sounds, maglev technology is not science fiction, and is even now finally being considered for above-ground civilian application, though with inferior speed capabilities. The secret construction of both the VHST and the DUMS that they networked together was made possible by top-secret, nuclear-powered tunnel boring machines called subterraneans, the patents for which, coincidentally, were filed in 1972 by scientists working at Los Alamos National Laboratory. Due to the advanced technology employed in these machines, exceptionally large tunnels can be made at incredible speeds without generating residual debris. In his book, Underground Bases and Tunnels, Dr. Richard Sauter explains, nuclear subterraneans work by melting their way through the rock and soil, actually vitrifying it as they go, and leaving a neat, solidly glass-lined tunnel behind them. The heat is supplied by a compact nuclear reactor that circulates liquid lithium from the reactor core to the tunnel face, where it melts the rock. In the process of melting the rock, the lithium loses some of its heat. It is then circulated back along the exterior of the tunneling machine to help cool the vitrified rock as the tunneling machine forces its way forward. The cooled lithium then circulates back to the reactor, where the whole cycle starts over. In this way, the nuclear subterrane slices through the rock like a nuclear-powered 2,000 degree Fahrenheit earthworm, boring its way deep underground. The United States Atomic Energy Commission and the United States Energy Research and Development Administration took out patents in the 1970s for nuclear subterranes. The first patent in 1972 went to the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission. The nuclear subterrane has an advantage over mechanical tunnel boring machines in that it produces no muck that must be disposed of by conveyors, trains, trucks, etc. This greatly simplifies tunneling. The underground base at Mount Weather is an impressive facility, but it is by no means the largest or the deepest beneath the soils of the United States. The construction of modern DUMS employs technology vastly superior to what was available in the 1950s. We now have the capability to build veritable cities over 10 miles below the surface of the earth, completely undetected by the public. Massive multi-level complexes have been constructed in secret with funding from the black budget, literally right under our noses, out of sight and out of mind. In fact, at this present time, according to inside sources, there are over 200 deep underground military bases in the United States alone, and many more in various countries all over the planet. In light of this incredible reality, a glaring question presents itself. How can something so vast, expensive, and ubiquitous be kept secret for so long? In other words, where are the whistleblowers?
Well, where are the whistleblowers? I mean, there's a lot of money, there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of technology that goes into this, there's patents involved. There's got to be someone who's talking about this, right? Anyone ever heard of a guy named Phil Schneider? Yeah. A few people. All right, so I had stumbled on Phil Schneider's videos just probably by accident a long time ago. So when I started digging into this again, he wasn't unfamiliar to me, but I have a much different perspective from his testimony than I did at that time. Initially, I thought that this man was just a loon, probably on drugs, and what he was perceiving, I mean, it's only one guy talking, right? So how true could it be? Well, I figure that we should maybe try to look at it if you haven't already, and for those who are watching out there who have never even seen this, give the guy a chance based upon some of the information that I've already introduced you to in this presentation. In this rare footage from late September 1995, Phil Schneider candidly shares his experiences of working 17 years in black budget projects for the U.S. government while he carried a level 1 security clearance with a Rhyolite 38 Factor. While serving as a government geologist and engineer, he worked in the black project's underground bases at Area 51 S-4 and Los Alamos. He co-invented methods used in shaped charge explosives research to facilitate the building of underground military bases as well as submarine bases. At the time of the footage you are about to watch, Phil was one of only 3 survivors of the now infamous alien-human war at Dulce, New Mexico, in Los Alamos underground bases, where 66 government agents and workers lost their lives in August of 1979. Because of Phil's close encounter with entities underground, he spent the final months of his life sharing his testimony about the imminent threat that these entities pose to all mankind. Tragically, Phil was murdered execution style about 4 months after this footage.
I spent 17 years in black budget programs, government geologist, as engineer, structural engineer, with aerospace applications, self-taught metallurgist, the skins and the coatings and the residues that are used predominantly in the aircraft themselves, the airframes and the rotor blades and the fans, and in some cases in submarines, special titanium hulls, Phoenix-class submarines now. All this has come from alien technology. 1947 is what the public has been told. Something crashed in the backyard in New Mexico, a place called Roswell, New Mexico. Unfortunately, that's what the public's been told. The military's known about the alien question for the better part of 70 years. And they first saw their glimpse of what was going on as early as 1909 in the American Southwest. The Army cavalry evidently were chasing some bandits, and they entered this cave. They were holed up in a cave, and what they found in there was flying discs and little gray guys and all kinds of weird things, and they didn't know how to explain that, and they wrote them down as best they could, and it's been in secret archives ever since. Our black budget, for instance, garners $1.023 trillion every 2 years. It's over $500 billion a year. Right now, there are 131 active deep underground military bases in the United States. There's 1,477 of them worldwide. Each one has an average cost of $17 to $19 billion. Each one is built in the site. It used to take a year to 2 years to build each one, and now they're capable of building a couple of them a year with sophisticated methods. My colleague Al Bielek is actually